tamasa param uchyate gnanam gneyam gnanagamyam hridi sarvasya vishtitam jyotisamapi tajyotis tamasa paramuchyate gnanam gneyam gnanagamyam hridi sarvasya vishtitam jyotisamapi tajyotis tamasa paramuchyate gnanam gneyam gnanagamyam hridi sarvasya vishtitam jyotisamapi tajyotis tamasa paramuchyate gnanam gneyam gnanagamyam hridi sarvasya vishtitam jyotisamapi tajyotis tamasa paramuchyate gnanam gneyam gnanagamyam hridi sarvasya vishtitam jyotisamapi tajyotis tamasa paramuchyate gnanam gneyam gnanakarmam sarvasya vishtitam. कोई ज्योतिषमपि तज्ज्योतिष तमसा परमुच्यते word to word meaning. Jyotisam, in all luminous objects. Api, also. That. Jyotihi, the source of light. Tamasaha, the darkness. Param, beyond. Uchyate is said. Gnanam, knowledge. Gneyam, to be known. Gnanagamyam, to be approached by knowledge. Hridi, in the heart. Sarvasya, of everyone. Vishtitam, situated. Translation and the purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. He is the source of light in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge. He is the object of knowledge and He is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. Everyone can repeat. He is the source of light in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge. He is the object of knowledge and He is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. Purport. The Supreme Soul, the Super Soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is a source of light in all luminous objects like the sun, moon and stars. In the Vedic literature, we find that in the spiritual kingdom, there is no need of sun or moon because the effulgence of the Supreme Lord is there. In the material world, that Brahma Jyoti, the Lord's spiritual effulgence, is covered by the Mahat Tattva, the material elements. Therefore, in this material world, we require the assistance of sun, moon, electricity, etc. for light. But in the spiritual world, there is no need of such things. It is clearly stated in the Vedic literature that because of his luminous effulgence, everything is illuminated. It is clear, therefore, that his situation is not in the material world. He is situated in the spiritual world, which is far, far away in the spiritual sky. That is also confirmed in the Vedic literature. Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastat, Shveteshwara Upanishad 3.8. He is just like the sun, eternally luminous, but he is far, far beyond the darkness of this material world. His knowledge is transcendental. The Vedic literature confirms that Brahman is concentrated transcendental knowledge. To one who is anxious to be transferred to the spiritual world, knowledge is given by the Supreme Lord, who is situated in everyone's heart. One Vedic mantra, Shveteshwara Upanishad 6.18 says, Tamhadevam Atma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshur Vaisharanam Aham Prapadhye. One must surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead if he at all wants liberation. As far as the goal of the ultimate knowledge is concerned, it is also confirmed in the Vedic literature. Tam eva viditvati mrityumeti. Only by knowing him one can surpass the boundary of birth and death. He is situated in everyone's heart as the supreme controller. The Supreme has legs and hands distributed everywhere, and this cannot be said of the individual soul. Therefore, that there are two nodes of the field of activity. The individual soul and the super soul must be admitted. One's hands and legs are distributed locally, but Krishna's hands and legs are distributed everywhere. This is confirmed in the Shveteshwara Upanishad 3.17. Sarvasya Prabhum Ishanam Sarvasya Sharanam Brihat. That Supreme Personality of Godhead, Super Soul, is the Prabhu or the Master of all living entities. Therefore, he is the ultimate shelter of all living entities. So, there is no denying the fact that the Supreme Super Soul and the individual soul are always different. Om Agnantimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, this chapter, nature, the enjoyer and the consciousness. So, here the Lord is explaining who is the object, nature, who is the enjoyer, and what is the consciousness. In this verse also it came Gnanam, Gneyam, Gnana Tattvam, Gnana Gamyam. The knower, knower of the object, and the real knowledge. So here in this, especially today's verse, Jyotisham api tad jyotis tamasa paramuchyate gnanam gneyam gnanagamyam hridi sarvasya vishtitam. Prabhupada is mentioning, Krishna is mentioning to Arjuna about the Jyoti and also the importance of Jyoti, that is light. Jyoti means light, right? We use different things to give light. We use candles, electricity, bulbs, different voltages. We use different materials. Why? In order to eradicate darkness. So, Krishna is saying, Tamasa Paramuchyate. This Tamasa is the darkness. How it can be eradicated? By the presence of light and the source. The main source of light is sun. Even moon also gets light. The illumination from the moon is also coming from the sun. Like everyone know that in childhood we used to play. We keep a mirror and we in front of the sunlight and we reflect. We just give the reflection to different directions. Sometimes in the classrooms where we were sitting next to the window, we'll be taking some objective like compass, something metal, and we play, right? There's a source. There is a source, and that is giving light. That is giving the light. Management. The source which is giving the light is the sun and the object and the reflection, that is light or illumination. The sunlight, similarly the sun is illuminating the light and that is reflecting by the moon. And Krishna says, Andantarastha Paramanuchayantarastam. Sorry. Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Kotim. All the light is coming from the sun, and he is the main source for light, and he is placed in all the universes. We generally know there is only one sun, but there are unlimited number of suns, unlimited universes. Each universe there is a sun and the moon, and the moon is called nakshatra. And Krishna says, I am the moon. So, this light or the illumination coming from the light source. Similarly, whatever this Jyotisham api tat jyotis, here Krishna is mentioning about the Jyoti, that is Brahman. How it is coming from? As we discussed, sun rays is coming up, the reflection or light. Similarly, this Jyoti or the light is coming from this Brahman, yeah, Brahma Jyoti is coming from the Krishna. Krishna's body is dark blue complexion because the light coming out, the effulgence coming out from the body of Krishna is reflecting in the sky. That's why sky looks blue in color, right? That is color of Krishna. That is a reflection coming out of body or luster of Krishna. Just like the sun is, how sun is getting sunlight? Because the people or the persons living in the sun planet are fiery in body. Their body is made up of fire. In this world, our material body is made up of everything in this material world is made up of Panch Mahabhut, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, right? In the sun planet, the main ingredient is only fire. And the persons have a fiery body. And the atmosphere is also fiery. Because of the reflection from the people and the fiery atmosphere, the sun is illuminating light. This light, similarly, the Brahma Jyoti is coming out of the bodily effulgence of the Krishna. That's why, in another sense, also we can, in the next verse line itself, Prabhupada is mentioning, Krishna is mentioning, Tamasa Paramuchyate. The ignorance, tamasa, can be eradicated, paramuchyate, can be eradicated by light. What is that light? That is knowledge. This tamasa is ignorance. This ignorance is compared to the darkness. When a person is ignorant, he do not know what is right, what is wrong. He feels everything is one and the same. But when he gains or accumulates knowledge, he can distinguish what is right and what is wrong. It's not other way that people say ignorance is bliss. It's not like that. Sometimes it feels ignorance is bliss, but absolutely it's not the truth. Because ignorance, one feel we are happy with whatever limited knowledge we have. There is no need again to go to college or schools or this Vedic literature especially. Because everyone know today in the current society, everyone knows this. What is that? The material education is not leading everyone to the highest perfection of life. Agree? If that is the case, why people are frustrated, depressed? Why this is happening? Because, and why people in the morning Bhagavatam class, we had Prabhupada's class, Prabhupada was mentioning, what were everyone looking for? Why a person? Why you are earning? Why people are earning so much, traveling from this end to that end, at least for 2 hours traveling? Why? For happiness. Why people are going out for picnics, excursions, trekking? Why? for happiness. So everyone are looking for happiness, and people are also going to schools and colleges for this, to gain knowledge, so that they get a good job, good partner, good family, good society, so that I'll be happy. But even though these activities are going on, but still people are not satisfied, not happy. कभी 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 खुश कभी दुख चलता है. People say चलता है प्रो जी, हमेशा सुख क्या है, दुख भी एंजॉय करना है, दुख को एंजॉय भी करना चाहिए ना. So such kind of ignorance, they feel that this kind of ignorance is bliss. ये अंधकार है, ज्ञान नहीं है, जीवन की परम लक्ष्य पता नहीं है. People do not the highest goal of life. So whatever and wherever they are living, to whatever extent or whatever standard they are placed, they are feeling this is the highest one. Or else one step. One RK people wanted 1 BHK, 1 BHK to 2 BHK. But due to this effect of Kali Yuga, Prayanalpaishe Kalasmin Yugejana Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagyahi Upadrita. The qualities of Kali Yuga mentioned. And there's the qualities of Kali Yuga, Prayanalpayusha. In this Kali Yuga, everyone have short lives. Kalayasmin Yugejana. People are not cooperative, always quarrelsome or hypocrite. Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagyahi Upadrita. People have very less intelligence. Their intelligence is not enriched with knowledge. What kind of knowledge? That we see in the next line. People, because of these qualities of Kali Yuga, people do not know what is the highest goal of life. Just they are limited to one job to another job, or one RKK to 2 BHK. Just that is the only thing. But they are not able to understand what is the highest goal of life, which is full of knowledge, full of happiness, and is eternal, which is a quality of the Supreme Lord, Krishna. Satchit Ananda Vigraha. People do not understand this, or trying with the so-called things what they have, they possess, and trying to be happy. That's why this Vedic literature is fully given emphasis to understand knowledge. But what for? Then again there is another clause there. People generally want to read literatures just for knowledge. Why are you reading? Just for knowledge, general knowledge. And they start reading anything, everything. पैम्पलेट से लेके मोटे मोटे किताब तक पढ़ते हैं. उसकी अंदर की सार क्या है? सार से जानने की जरूरत नहीं है. They don't focus what is the essence. But literature says all these literatures, whatever knowledge which we gain, contains 3 kinds of knowledge for 3 kinds of people. Knowledge for tamoguni, ignorant people. Knowledge for passionate, rajoguni. Knowledge for goodness, Satoguni Gnan. And the top is Satoguni Gnan, so that they will come to that stage where they can understand the highest goal of life. And also, all the Vedic literatures, even though the Puranas, 18 Puranas are divided into that only. 6 Puranas for ignorant people, 6 Puranas for passionate people, 6 Puranas for mode of goodness people. And these Puranas makes one to elevate from one stage to another. And finally making one to understand the supreme absolute truth. Vedesya sarvam ahameva vedyaha. All the Vedic knowledge should lead one to understand the supreme absolute truth. That is none other than Lord Sri Krishna. If our knowledge is not leading us to understand about Krishna, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, if that is not there, all the Vedic knowledge which we have accumulated is useless. What currently everyone are noticing. So that's why Krishna here to saying to Arjuna, Gnanam Gneyam Gnana Gamyam. One should get knowledge and one should understand the object of knowledge and Gnana Gamyam, where that knowledge is leading to. If that knowledge is leading to Krishna, that Krishna is the supreme controller, Krishna is the supreme proprietor, Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, and Prabhupada in the purport also mentioning about the soul and the super soul. And Krishna is sitting as a super soul in everyone's heart, is everywhere, and also as a super soul in the heart of everyone, and also in the real form of Krishna, Sachit Ananda Vigraha also. If that understanding, if one fails to understand that, their knowledge is limited itself. And one has to reach to this understanding, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. And is it sufficient with that? That Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Is that only sufficient? No. Shastra says no. भगवान आप महान है, बस इतने से हो जाता है क्या काम? नहीं होगा. We have to understand our position also. We are part and parcel of Krishna. We are the teeny part, and Krishna is the supreme whole. And the constitutional position of every living entity or the jiva is, Prabhupada mentions here, atato brahma jignasa. To inquire about the supreme truth, also inquire about the constitutional position of the jiva. So now we had understood that Krishna is the Supreme Lord and He is the object of knowledge, and our highest goal is to reach or surrender unto Him. So who can surrender? Only if everyone will become boss, then who is the worker or who is the servant? Right? So the jiva or we, the conditioned soul, is subservient to Krishna. Our eternal position or our eternal nature is servant of Krishna itself. Because we are forgetting or we already forgot that we are claiming ourselves to be the proprietor, to be the controller, and to be the enjoyer. And in some parts, people go to other extent that saying themselves as God. That is another extreme condition. So, as the teeny part and parcel of Krishna, it is our duty to understand Krishna's supremacy and the nature of the soul and try to gain knowledge in this perspective that I am part and parcel of the supreme whole and my constitutional position is to serve the Supreme Lord. And when we really start serving the Supreme Lord, we get the real happiness. Then only one will be really happy, satisfied. Until unless we will be in this material world, in this life, in this body or another body. As Padma Purana says, there are 84 lakh species of life. 84 लाख योनि है. इसमें सब कुछ इवन डिस्कवरी चैनल एनिमल प्लैनेट भी उसको भी नहीं मिला उतना जीव राशि है वो उसमें जीव हम सब उसकी अंदर गुजर के ये मनुष्य शरीर मिला. People sometimes wrongly end up without knowing this knowledge, wrongly takes decision and ends his life. And sometimes people passionate, that is ignorant. And passionately people work very hard, earn more. Without understanding this knowledge, what is the goal of life? And going back into the lowest species of life among the 84 lakh species, getting this human form of life is very rare opportunity. If we get this real knowledge, then our activities will be, we can design. If we get knowledge, we'll mold our life according to that knowledge. Now, all the Vedic literatures is speaking about this. To know the absolute truth, Krishna. And after knowing, surrendering to Him. That is the process of bhakti. Among all the yoga systems, the bhakti yoga, karma yoga, dhyana yoga, ashtanga yoga, among all these yoga systems, the topmost yoga system is bhakti. And the bhakti is this only, knowing that Krishna is the supreme and we are His part and parcel or servant. When we serve the Supreme Lord, we will be happy. Without this understanding, we generally try to please our boss, our senior, our owner, someone or other, thinking they are the supreme. But if we serve the Supreme Lord, then everything can be or will be taken care. Thinking of this life itself is just living in vanarke. छोटी सी कमरे में रह के Srila Prabhupada says as Dr. Frog philosophy. Dr. Frog, anyone heard of it? Dr. Frog philosophy? New one? Dr. Frog philosophy? Okay. There is a frog in a well. It was always calculating the circumference of the well and the depth of the well. Once there was a floods and the well got good quantity of water and new frog came there. And this frog started inquiring, where are you coming from? That frog said, I'm coming from Atlantic Ocean. Oh, how big it is? And this frog in the well is calculating, maybe this much, maybe 100 times more of this. Can understand that? Never. With his speculative knowledge. How big is Atlantic Ocean? Never. So, any yoga system without performing bhakti, without understanding this Vedic literature, is just like Dr. Frog. We have to come out of this consciousness, of limited consciousness to broader consciousness. And especially, this is very easy in this Kali Yuga. As everyone know, 4 yugas, Satya Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga and Kali Yuga. And there are different methods to achieve perfection of life, to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Constructing big temples, or big yajna, or thousands and thousands of meditation, which is highly impossible. We can't even sit for 1 hour at one place. The biggest difficulty. And you can see children. That is what our situation. That's why Krishna came in the form of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And he gave this knowledge how one can be delivered or move towards the highest perfection of life. And it is explained, or Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Kali Yuga Lakshan, he knows he is none other than Krishna himself. He knows that Kali Yuga Mandabhagya, people with less intelligent. So Krishna did not give, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not give much literature. Bhagavad-Gita, Bhagavatam. And in all the things he explained the sublime process of all the yugas, that is chanting of the holy names of the Lord. And he himself propagated and taught people to take up this Krishna conscious movement, the Sankirtan Yajna. By chanting the holy names of the Lord, one develops the attitude and gratitude for the Supreme Lord. And in this Kali Yuga, people can only be successful only by chanting these holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, in order to understand this Sankirtan Yajna, basic knowledge is to be gathered. For that, reading of scriptures, Bhagavad-Gita and Bhagavatam. No need for reading Puranas. Especially people ask Garud Puran or Devi Puran. There's no need of reading anything. And especially Bhagavad-Gita is given words spoken by Krishna, and Bhagavatam is the sum and substance or the essence of all the Vedic literatures. Just reading Bhagavad-Gita and Bhagavatam, one can understand who is Supreme Lord and how one can take surrender unto Him and make one's life perfect. So, chanting of the holy names of the Lord and reading the scriptures. Attending this kind of sessions where reiteration happens, making our path again towards Krishna will happen. So, this is a method for achieving success or the highest perfection of life. Hare Krishna. Thank you.